Hey, it is so T-Fo. How y'all doing? Thank you so much for being here. I'm Toya,
I'm Nakia.
I'm Latoya.
and we have our illustrious guest with us today, Tonya, the beautiful, the intelligent, the super fantastic Franklin. Yay! Yes. So, ladies, it's so good to see you guys. I needed you. Like, I was in a major accident yesterday, so it's just good to see familiar, warm, loving faces, and I'm so grateful that we made it through the accident. But so what y'all working on? What you got going on?
I am working on some client work and my full-time jobs work.
Yes.
Ah,
I am
Toya.
also I just got a new client this week. Whoop, whoop.
Ooh, congratulations.
So thank you. I am working on some WooCommerce strategies. So yeah, that's
Commerce strategies.
WooCommerce.
Okay, y'all tell me some more about that when we're working together. That sounds cool. All right, and our wonderful guest today. What are you working on, Tanya?
I'm currently working on doing some pitches, sales pitches, for clients, and also hopefully working on finishing my book.
Yes.
Ooh, nice. Ooh,
Ooh,
can't wait to
Author.
hear more
Yeah.
about that.
yes.
Yes, and I've been working on overlays for some remote virtual shows that I'm helping put together. So that's been fun. So fantastic. So today we are talking about something that's extremely important to talk about, especially if you are an entrepreneur, and that is marketing mindset. Marketing mindset.
And just to let y'all know who this awesome woman is, she is so dynamic. Oh my gosh. She is like our go to guru on everything business. Okay. Like we harass her.
All right.
It's not
she
a
is
All right.
she is the proud owner of MJS Virtual Collaborative. That is her parent company, y'all. Y'all get into this now. When you got a parent company and you got like multiple businesses under your business, okay? So she also has MJS Communications. That company is for marketing and PR and public relations. She also owns MJS Consulting, so you can come to her for business development strategies. And if you are a startup and don't know what to do, where to go, how to get there, she is the person to call, which is why we all go to her for all of our questions.
What she said, ain't that something to have a whole
Okay.
like
Like
conglomerate or a big old
levels.
enterprise?
There's
Yes.
levels to this thing. Yes.
When I grow up. When I
When I
grow
grow
up.
up. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
just trying to be like
no.
that when I grow up.
No, but for real, we're very grateful, and you're not stingy with the knowledge. You show us a lot of stuff, so we are very grateful for you, Tanya. Thank you so much. So if you can, can you define for us what a marketing mindset is?
Well, I'm gonna break that down because I think that sometimes the concept certain particular concepts in business tend to be overwhelming.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna break both of those words down and then we're gonna put them together if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Fantastic.
My
All right.
notebook.
With marketing, it's
All right.
mainly about building and cultivating relationships. And a lot of times when we're in business, we're so sales oriented that we miss out on actually developing the relationship. And that's why sometimes people either misunderstand or they may face certain particular challenges when it comes to marketing because they miss that relationship concept. So marketing equals relationship. Okay. And you do that on various different platforms. So that's why a lot of times people get marketing, advertising, PR, and branding and promotion. They get all of that confused and think that it's the same thing, which they're not. They're not the same thing, but they're like individual pieces of the puzzle that come together to make one. Okay. So marketing is about relationships. Mindset is really about how you think. It's the characteristics that develop how you think, develops your attitudes towards a particular subject or a particular person. So when you put both of those together, it's marketing mindset is the relationship that you create with your consumer, your customer, your client, based on the characteristics of how you think about them, as well as the type of service or product that you produce and give to them. And I know that that's like a lot to say, but if I was to just put that in a nutshell, it's about the relationship that you create based on how you feel about the person that you're selling to.
Mm, mm, mm. I'm writing my notes. Yes.
I'm processing. I'm
Ma'am.
processing.
Yeah.
Got it. So this thing is about relationships.
It's about
Right.
relationship.
About relationships.
I always said that, right, Nakia?
You do always say
You
that.
do always say that.
So
Yeah.
I'm on the right track. I'm on the right
Right
track.
You're on the right track.
Yes. Wow, fantastic. So marketing, the relationships and mindset, how you go about doing that. Hmm. Okay. All right. So everybody should have a unique way of going about cultivating these relationships
Right,
based
right.
based
Different.
on based on our own beliefs and personality, and what about what the consumer wants, what our
Most
target.
most definitely. I mean, you wouldn't enter into any type of relationship with someone who doesn't consider your needs or the types of desires that you have. You wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone like that because you would consider them as selfish.
Mm, break
And
that
so
down.
when it comes down to your business, you have to think about that the same way. I remember when I first got into business, and people would always say, the customer is always right. And to a certain degree, there is some truth to that. But if you, as the entrepreneur, you are the person who should be guiding the ship. You should be presenting options to your clients on how they should want to be treated. So it's not always that they can come to you any kind of way and be right, but that you're making sure that you're presenting them the right options for them to be right.
Mhm.
Ah,
I
I,
remember when I had a consultation, a marketing consultation with this awesome young lady. I was literally on fire after I spoke with her. She opened up my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't even think about in business. One of the things she had asked me was, "What is your ultimate goal when you speak to your customer?" And I'm like, I, to make a sale, to get a client. But then
mm,
she went deeper into that, like, what makes them want to buy with you?
Right.
Because okay, we sitting there like it kind of make you think like, well, what is it that? So they made me think deeper, and I was very surface level, like, oh,
Right.
I do this, I offer this service, you need it, come buy it, basically, you know what I mean? But it's so deeper than that, and so she made me dig deeper to find that connection. So I really appreciated that.
I
That's
like
something
that
I've
you.
been struggling with my USP. I've been struggling with
Mm,
that. But y'all were helping me last week, so I'm getting better. But I have been struggling with what makes me unique enough to say, pick me over someone who does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
so Toya, I like what you said. That scenario you brought up, because to me, this marketing thing is really just like any type of relationship. Like, just think about with your man. You know what I'm saying? You're not just like, come get it. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a cultivated relationship. You think about what attracts him and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I think it's just like any other kind of relationship. It has to be
Right. I
cultivated.
had never even thought of it in that way, but I mean, it seemed like an easy question, but it kind of
Yeah.
like stumped me. I was like, what do you mean what I want? I want to make money, right?
Right.
Right? I want to run
But
this business. That's what I want to
but but
do.
but Nakia might be just like, come get it. That might be how Nakia is. I don't know.
I am very outspoken, but I don't think I said go get it.
These services.
I do want to address,
Oh,
I do want to address something with you, Nakia. You said
Oh, shoot.
that you were looking at what's so unique about you. And sometimes, and in the past, I've run into this where I'm looking for something specifically about my character or a certain particular skill that's different. And in my own business growth, it's not always about something that you do that's different. You can do the same thing that someone else does, but it's the way that you think, that the way that you do it, the way that you think, and how you perform that particular action. And that's why the mindset is so important, because somebody can, I mean, if we could go back to Toya's example about the husband, you know, we engage in activities, but it's, your mindset in how you're presenting it to your significant other. And that's what makes the difference.
Mhm.
And so it sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves thinking that we have to be so much better or so much different than someone else in order to succeed in business, when we already are unique individuals.
Right.
We have the gifts, and we have everything that we need, and I am a minister, and not by definitely trade, but by calling. And one of the things that I have learned is that even when Moses was going before the people and he was having this conversation with God, and he was, like, he was sitting there pointing out all of his flaws, like, why are you choosing me? He was even saying, why don't you choose Aaron? He's a better speaker. He's this, he's that. And I was like, I'm choosing you. And so he's like, well, I don't have anything profound to be able to present the people in order for them to listen to me. And so he's standing there with this shepherd's rod in his hand, and God's like, so what is that you have in your hand, Moses? And he was like, it's a stick, it's a rod. And so he says, throw it down. And Moses is like, come on, God, I ain't got time for that. We ain't playing these type of games. The guy's like, throw it down. So he throws it down and it turns into a serpent. And Moses kind of like jumps, and he's like, I want you to understand that it's not necessarily that you have to have a new skill, that you have to have like this different type of skill set or anything like that, but it's about the gifts that are already planted inside of you. The way that you think, our environments play a big role in how we communicate and relate to one another, as well as even to our clients. That's why we choose the certain particular niche that we're in. That plays a huge role in that. And so when we put our own character, our own flavor in it, and not focus so much on whether I've got 20 different skill sets, and just focus on, I'm just going to be me. I know how I want to be treated as a client. I know how I want to be treated as a consumer, and I'm going to put that love, and I'm going to mix in some of my training and my expertise in my environment. That's what makes me unique. And that's what makes me stand out above everybody else.
I think one of the biggest things about Nakia and her work ethic, and the things that would stand out about her with her clients, is her professionalism.
Yeah.
Like, the way she handles things is always going to be on a higher corporate level because of her background. So you're
Right.
not just getting a random VA or a general administrator or something like that. You're getting a corporate person. So it's like going to the top shelf of people to get what you need. So I think that's a big advantage.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, everybody can't do that. Everybody doesn't think that way. There are a lot of people that, and this is just from my own experience from being around other entrepreneurs that I know that have been in the corporate space, but their professionalism as an entrepreneur is zero. I mean, because they don't bring those type of influences with them to the entrepreneur world. They have a whole totally different mindset in how they view their customer base. So, everybody's, a lot of people use the word professionalism, but a lot of people don't have that. They have this one-sided type of thinking, and it's pushy, it's salesy. Sometimes it lacks, value. They're kind of holding back on the value because they have this idea that, I don't want to be able to give all of my value to you because I want you to give me more money for it. And that's one thing even that I know about Nakia is that she's very strategic in how she handles her clients. Even when she's even giving value to them, she's very strategic about it. She's not willy-nilly about it, and she's not hoarding it either. And I've seen entrepreneurs on both ends of those spectrums. So even her level of professionalism as far as that's different. That's not something that you see, especially in the online business space. You don't see that every single day.
Right.
So true.
Oh, this was the Love on Nakia Day. Yes.
I know. Nakia needed it. Let me stop.
Yes. I love it. How
So
much time? Oh,
Okay,
sorry. Go ahead.
Go
You
ahead,
ain't
sis.
asked a question yet. I didn't ask a question. Go ahead.
Well, so I just wanted to know for someone who's just maybe starting out and understanding that they need to market their business. How do you recommend that someone gets started with having the appropriate mindset, marketing their business?
I would definitely recommend that they sit down and they do a self-evaluation first. A lot of
Okay.
times we want to start looking at our quote unquote competitors. I really don't believe in that. But
Yeah.
we want to look at our so-called competitors and see what they're doing, what's working for them. I've tried that model and it didn't work for me.
That's good.
I would also recommend that they not look at the competitors or even the audience, but they start evaluating themselves. Start writing a list down of things that I'm good at. And when you write those things down, don't box yourself in and say, okay, I'm good at typing, I'm good at doing Excel, I'm good at Dubsado, but just every single thing that's good about you. I'm a good mom, I'm compassionate, I'm patient with my hard-headed husband. I love to try new things. I mean, I may burn up some food, but I like trying new things. You know, those just list all the different types of good things about yourself. And what you do is that then you start categorizing those things and saying, okay, these things, that's considered as something that's technical. This is something that's analytical. This is logical. That's how you start creating. And because once you see it on the paper, then it's like, okay, you know what? This is the type of mindset that I have. So now you move on to now you doing the research on your client base, on your ideal client, because now you're going to look for people that need someone who's analytical, that need someone who's logical, someone who's a creative. So exactly, and I had to learn all of that the hard way because, I was looking at all the people that were in my industry and I was like, shoot, they're not really doing anything more than what I'm doing. I'm like, they just got better pictures, and some of the things that I was working on, they weren't even doing it, so I was like, this is not working. This is not happening for me. And so I had just a sit down with myself and I said, let me just find out about me. What is it that I want to do? Why is it that I want to do it? And that's when I started doing the evaluation of my different skills, my different character traits. And when I started blocking those things off, I said, okay, these are the type of people that I need to look for that need this. That's how you create a marketing mindset.
That's amazing. So for you guys that are watching, what Tonya just expressed is so helpful and applicable to whatever industry that you're in. You literally sit there and see all the different type of things that you do. You look at the type of character that you have, all that encompasses you. And then you can really sit and choose, okay, well, that part I like and that part I like, and this is who I want to attract. This is who I want to deal with. And it's so helpful because I don't know what y'all experience was, but when I was out there at first, I just was trying to get clients. And there was some bum ones, and it was because our personalities didn't didn't match. The way we did
Right.
business didn't match. And that makes a huge difference in your happiness as an entrepreneur.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And our happiness is very important. Your
Mhm.
happiness is
Most
important.
definitely. If you're not
Yes.
happy, guess what? Your client's not going to be happy because
Yeah.
you're not
That's
going to
right.
give, you're not going to be able to give 110% to them. You're going to give just enough so that they can leave you alone and quit emailing you and texting you.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's not fun. And this business, whatever business you are in, I feel like can be fun. That's the only way I'm going to do work if it's fun
Yes.
and
Right.
enjoyable.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
I'm a creative. And so if I'm stressed out with a client, I can't really, open up to be able to create things for them because I'm so stressed out. And so
Right.
that's a big deal for me. I'm like, okay, you're stressing me out, I'm gonna have to come back to this tomorrow. So that's, when you start even and also part of creating your marketing mindset is understanding and knowing what your triggers are.
Mhm.
What things that
That's
people
good.
say and do that's going to just shut you down to the point where you can't give them the type of value that they need in their particular business or what have you. You have to know what your triggers are.
That is good. I'm writing that down.
So
Yes.
you know how they say start where you are, right?
Hmm.
And how much time should you dedicate to this process before you get started? Because you know how they say, well, don't spend too much time on it, it'll come to you later, and just go ahead and get started. Which this sounds like this is something you probably want to put a little thought into. But I mean, like, what time frame are we talking?
It's, to be honest, it's a continuous growth. There
Mhm.
is no time limit um in regards to you developing your marketing mindset. It's not something that's just something that just starts and stops, because as an entrepreneur you're always going to continue to grow. You're going to always continue to surround yourself with different type of characteristics even from your client base. So it's something that you're going to continuously grow even as you continue to get older. You have different outside experiences outside of your business that affects the way that you think. So, I mean, even now, I've been in business about 6 years now. And the way that I look at business as well as my clients today is not the same way that I looked at my business or my clients 6 years ago.
Right. Right.
So,
Mm.
it's a continuous, steady thing. Even when you with developing your brand, you may reach times of pause, of being comfortable, but you're going to always continuously evolve with your business. If you're not always evolving with your business, then you need to do some checking with that.
Right.
Mm.
Right, right, right. Hmm. Food
Love
for
it.
thought.
But
So,
provoking.
Nakia, so what about that USP? Are you feeling more comfortable with it during this, from this conversation, or do you want
Um,
any help with that, or?
I think it's more comfortable now
Mm-hmm.
because in our industry there is this footwork and framework that you're supposed to go through, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been fighting the framework the whole time, but for some reason the USP keeps coming up. So I thought that part of the framework should have stayed, and maybe based on this conversation, that part of the framework should go too.
Mm.
So you know everybody says that your journey should be different, but for some reason in this industry it seems to have this foothold on us that you should do
Mhm.
this and this. And so I have been not following the foothold, and so I guess I'm just going to continue to not follow it.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I mean,
my good.
sometimes you have to rewrite the plan, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people, they don't want to talk about failure in business, but that's part of growing. If you don't make mistakes, if you don't try and test things out, if you're
Right.
always trying to stay safe, you're you're really not going to be able to develop your marketing the way that you should if you're not willing to take risks
Right.
and be able to try things out and
Yeah.
accept and say, okay, this is not working. I
Mhm.
tried this, it was an epic fail. No, let's scrap that. Let's try something else. You have to step out of that comfort zone
Yeah.
and be willing to make mistakes, and be willing to make mistakes to the point to where even if it's something that causes some type of stumbling block, even with your clients, that you be man or woman enough to say, okay, we were trying this, for research because we're trying to, help develop your business, your company, what have you. So, that's the whole foundation of white papers, is trial and error, things that they've learned, things that they've tested. That's why corporations, they create these white papers and give it out to their clients, so that people have a better understanding of, okay, we created this system and it works. This is the stuff that we had to go through in order for it to work. So that people have a better understanding, that they're more connected, which that goes back to the relationship. So now they're more connected to what you do, and they trust you even more, because they're like, okay, yeah, they tried that and that was a total screw up, but we see that how they were able to come together and work on this and create this type of system or what have you, and it works perfectly for our business, and we totally get it. So, don't be afraid to step out of the box. Don't be afraid to try something and say, okay, let's see if this works. You don't want to be out willy-nilly with it, and just being haphazard with your clients. But, don't, if something's not working, you want to be able to step out of the box sometimes and say, let's try something else.
Yeah. And you also need to be able to realize when something isn't working, so that it doesn't go too long, too far.
Right.
And you look unprofessional, or you look like you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I really enjoy about marketing in particular. It is a space where you're trying things, things it is different for different campaigns or different seasons, different companies, like in the season of COVID, you were marketing different than you would have, 10 months ago or so.
Yep.
So I think that's something for you, if you're watching, just to remember that in marketing, yes, there's strategies and stuff, but you have to do a lot of testing, a lot of A/B testing, to see what's working for you and what's working for you now. So like you said, there will be so-called failures, but that's just a part of it. That's part of the process.
That's right. I agree.
I love it.
Yes. Wait, Toya, did I say something that you wrote down? I just want to know. Did I say
why?
I want to know if I was smart as Tonya Franklin.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Yes, I wrote it down.
Yes. Okay. Today is great. Oh, shoot. So, Ty, we've asked you some questions, and I feel like you just gave us a whole lot, just real practical, stuff to help us with our marketing. Do you have any questions for us or any other insights?
I do want to share a 4 things, and there is no particular order.
Okay.
And it kind of came from the post that you saw from me earlier today, Toya.
Yeah.
But because I'm a part of different organizations, and I'm also on the executive board for a nonprofit. And sometimes people don't really understand how to push out their marketing statement out to people. It's like they have like these ideas rolling around in their head, but they don't know how to package it and present it to the right people. And so I always, and I'm like the oldest person on the executive board. And so sometimes I have to step in because these young people have some really great ideas, but they just don't know how to package it to put it out. And so these 4 things that I think that are extremely important when you're creating your marketing statement, your brand statement, when you are doing your marketing research, these 4 things are so critical and key and important. And that's integrity. Integrity is so important, especially during the time of a pandemic where people are desperate. They're skimming and scamming people. So integrity is so, so important that you protect the integrity of not only your business and your brand, but also your clients. Okay.
Yeah.
Integrity is so important. 2 is empathy. You know, we're running a business, but we're dealing with human beings, and we are human. And we have to have a level of empathy. And I'm saying a level because, you know, you give people an inch and sometimes they'll take 3 miles. So you have to have a certain level of empathy, and you have to be clear on your boundaries with that empathy. But you have to have that because we are dealing with real people. Value, making sure that you are providing value. Don't give somebody something and then they're kind of like left high and dry and like, you know, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? You know, give them something that's going to challenge the way that they think, that's going to challenge the way that they feel, even about their own businesses. You know, I've had clients in the past that really didn't even take their own business seriously. You know, I was up late nights, you know, creating ideas and strategies and campaigns for a business while, you know, 2-3 weeks down the line, they were like, oh yeah, I forgot that I had you working on that, you know? So, you know, you make sure that you provide some type of value that's going to challenge them to think and to feel and to also act, you know, because you're in a relationship with your clients. You know, it's not you just doing all the work. They have something to do on their end as well. So make sure that you're providing that value. And the last thing that I want to say is communication. I'm so big on that communication is so, so big, making sure that people are understanding where you're coming from and that you're understanding them. Even if you have to ask questions, there's nothing wrong with that, and say, okay, I really don't understand that. Can you kind of, you know, can we, you know, get together so that I can make sure that we're on the same page? Some people, and making sure that you all are comfortable in the way that you communicate. Some people don't like text messaging. Some people don't like to use certain particular apps. Some people like to use this, or only people like to use email. Some people like only to use social media. So be clear and be on one page on how you communicate as well. You know, the way that you do it, the method. You know, all of those things are so important. And I think sometimes we tend to separate that and think, oh, that's not really important, when it's all a part of that. Because remember, you're building, and not only building a relationship, but you're cultivating that relationship. So that when people see you on Google, when they see you at a conference, when they see you on a show, when they see you even on this podcast, they automatically associate certain particular characteristics and skill sets with you.
Right. That is so good. I'm glad you mentioned all those different platforms. You should be the same. Like, you should have the same personality. You should be, when they see you in person, they should be what they felt on YouTube. They should be able to feel and see the same, you know. Oh man, it is so about building relationships. If y'all haven't heard any other word loud and clear, marketing equals building and cultivating relationships. Yes.
Did y'all catch those nuggets? Did you catch those nuggets?
I hope you caught the nuggets.
I had to use all of those nuggets this week. I had a client who was not communicating well. I had a client who wanted to communicate in Teams, wanted to call me, wanted to email me. And I'm like, where am I supposed to be going for this information?
Right.
So yes, communication is key. Cultivating those relationships is key, because I mean, I didn't want to ask 5 million questions, but she was not giving me what I needed to get the job done. And so I felt inferior, because I'm like, I feel like I'm stupid. No, I'm not stupid. I feel like I'm stupid because I'm asking 5 million questions when this should be going a little better.
Right. And even in how you feel, even though it's not something that's manifested in your own personality, but if there is a breakdown in the relationship, you know, you're entitled to feel those feelings, and to be able to communicate with your client and say, you know, there's some off balance here, you know. And, you know, I've had the same, you know, situation you've had. You know, I'm like, hey, haven't heard from you. You're not communicating. And then when you do finally decide to come up from the grave, you know, you want to email me 20 times when I'm on another project, because I've tabled your project. I'm like, because I haven't heard from you.
Right.
And, you know, I've had to have those come to Jesus meetings and say, you know, this is how I'm feeling. And, you know, sometimes you have to do that, you know, you do it in a professional way, but, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, because they need to understand that you are of value to them.
Mm-hmm.
You may be providing a service or a product,
Right.
but you have value to them, because if not, then they wouldn't have paid you. They wouldn't have come to you if they didn't need you. And so it's like, you know, hey, my world is imbalanced right now. I am not happy and we need to talk. You know, you've got me, you know, on Slack, you've got me on Facebook, you're emailing me, and I'm all over the place. And I've actually used those words. I am all over the place. And I'm like, I said, I understand, you know, that you are in different places and you're doing different things. I said, let's, you know, come to some type of agreement on what works best for us. I said, because I don't like being all over the place. And usually what I do is I turn that right back around to them and say, you know, because if I'm all over the place, then I can't do what I need to do to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Then the light bulb goes on and like, wait a minute, because I need her to do this for me. So let's make sure that Tonya is okay, because we don't want her imbalanced.
Right.
So, you know, all of that is important and it's key. And it's the stuff that we deal with. It's the stuff that we go through. You know, we have those moments where we're feeling like, you know what, I just totally like suck as a business owner. You know, we have those feelings in those moments. It doesn't mean that manifests as to who we are, but we just are in those certain particular situations that we have those types of feelings.
Right. We are
And
human.
so that's when you have to say, you know what, let's flip the switch here. Let's flip the switch.
Yep.
Yes, flip that switch. I got me some.
That switch.
Mm, mm, mm.
Me too. Very good. Very good. Well, this has been a super fantastic, like I said, very practical marketing teaching. And we really appreciate that, because that's what we need. A lot of
Yeah.
times there's all these gurus with this, that, and this program and this way to do it. And like just the basics is just let's start there.
Yeah, just get me started.
That's right.
As much as we
Yeah.
love to say we're business owners and we want to work with business owners, sometimes those business owners don't know how to work with us. So it requires us to take on that teacher role. Even though we may be new in our business, we still have to take on that teacher role to show them we have value. We can cultivate what you need. We just need you to work with us a little bit.
Right. I 100% agree. Yep.
So I think we're getting close to the time. Any last words about marketing mindset?
No.
Tonya Franklin?
No, just make sure that you're starting with self first and work outward from there.
Self first and work from there.
I'm
Awesome.
doing that.
Yes. Cool. Okay, Toya.
Yes, I was about to say, well, thank you for coming. We truly enjoy your spirit, your knowledge, and your awesomeness. Y'all, she can cook too. Just throw that on there.
Man.
Yes, honey. She could too.
Man.
So
Yes.
so please do not forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And please meet us right back here every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Soulful.
Before we go though, Tonya, is there a freebie or something that we should direct people to?
Right now, I'm having the same problem that I was having with my website. So
Okay.
I'm going to have it posted on my Instagram.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
All
What's
right.
your Instagram?
Instagram will be in the description bar below.
Yeah,
Cool.
it'll be posted on Instagram, and you guys can pull it from there.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're so
Thank
welcome.
you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.